We'll go through basic principles of high jumping. There are some principles. The first one is to clear a high jump bar. It is necessary to drive the center of mass to its maximum largest height possible, or its maximum height. So it should be, the center of mass should be at its maximum height. And it's also necessary to move the body in the air in a way that it will allow the athlete to clear the bar set as close as possible to peak the it is also necessary to move in the body in the air in a way that will allow the athlete to clear a bar set as close as possible to peak height reached by the center of mass. Now, bar height cleared depends upon two factors. The first one is the peak height reached by the center of mass, and the second one is what is the how much effective the bar clearance is, or which technique is used in the bar clearance. So bar height cleared depends upon two factors: how much the peak of the center of mass is, and the second one is which technique or which way he cleared, or how much effectively he cleared the bar. So for a given peak height of center of mass, the lowering of the certain body parts makes the other body part to go higher. It's a basic principle used in physics. It's a basic principle used in the mechanical principles in physics. That is, for a given peak height of center of mass, lowering of any part of the body, either it is a hand, either it is a leg, either it is a head. So it allows the person, or it allows the body to go into a higher position. So, different body position, according to this law, different body positions were used, and by time to time. So, common styles used were the legs up, scissor, eastern cutoff, western roll, straddle, horseberry flop. So, these are the different techniques used for bar clearance. And the first one is the leg up, and it is one of the most ancient method. Then came the scissor, then came the eastern cutoff, then western roll, straddle, and horseberry flop. These are the different techniques used for bar clearance. Now we'll analyze how much progression is there by using these type of bar clearance. Consider a person with the same center of mass. Consider, you can see in the picture that if the jumper if there is no technique, and if we are using a leg up technique. So according to this, if the high jumper remains in a straight vertical position after takeoff, the bar clearance height will be very less. The center of mass will be the same, but bar clearance height will be very less. Once he do the legs up, the bar clearance height increase a lot. There is you can see in the picture, there is a big gap, big difference between the bar clearance height once he is not using any technique and legs up technique. So, but the center of mass is same, but the bar clearance height improves in the legs up. It is used in this type of legs up technique is used long back. So, by lifting the leg, the trunk and head gets lower, and the center of mass stays in the same peak, and the bar clearance, the athlete can clear a higher bar in case of legs up technique. Then after legs up technique, a new technique, the people started using a new technique, and the technique name is called scissors. And it is most widely used by the beginners. In this scissors technique, athlete take off the foot farther from the bar and raises to cross the bar with the trunk erect and legs in a near horizontal position. So the athlete's trunk will be erect and legs in a horizontal position, and he clears the bar. So the main advantage of scissors technique is that part of both legs are below the level of the bar at the peak of jump. So lowering of the one part of the body increases the height of the bar clearance. This increases the height of the pelvis, and therefore the bar clearance height increased. Now we can check in the picture what is the difference in the legs up. We can see in the picture what is the difference between the legs up and scissor technique. In scissor technique, the bar clearance we can see the center of mass is same, but the bar clearance has increased more. Now, just after the scissor techniques, people started using a better technique. The technique is called Eastern cutoff style. Here, in this technique, athlete rotate the trunk into a horizontal position. At the peak of the jump, the athlete rotates his body or trunk into a horizontal position. In the scissor style, the athlete was sitting vertical, but here the entire trunk will be in horizontal position. This lowers the trunk, and therefore again the pelvic side goes higher position than scissor technique, and we got a better bar clearance by using Eastern cutoff technique. So, in the difference between the scissor style and Eastern cutoff technique is that in Eastern cutoff, the athlete is rolling his body or rotate his trunk in a horizontal position, but at the same time, scissor style, the athlete was sitting. So, some part of it's sitting in horizontal position, sitting in vertical position in case of scissor style. I'll explain it again. The difference between the scissors and Eastern cutoff is that in Eastern cutoff style, the athletes rotate the trunk into a horizontal position and at the peak of the jump. But at the same time, in scissor technique, the athlete will be in a sitting position. So, in Eastern cutoff style, the athlete's upper body is again in a lower position. It increases the bar clearance height. So, but there is a disadvantage for the Eastern cutoff style. The main disadvantage is that in order to do a Eastern cutoff style, the athlete should have tremendous flexibility on his muscles and body. So, it felt the people or players felt some difficulty in doing the Eastern cutoff style, and then Eastern cutoff, they started a new technique called Western roll. The difference between Eastern cutoff style and Western roll is that Western roll does not need that much flexibility, but the bar clearance height in Eastern, once we compare the bar clearance height in Eastern cutoff and Western roll, is that the bar clearance height will be same and center of mass will be the same, but Western roll does not need much flexibility. So, the people started opting the Western roll technique than Eastern cutoff style. In the Western roll, the athlete take off the foot from nearer the bar, raises to cross the bar with the knee of the takeoff leg tucked against the chest. So, this is the Western roll style. In this technique, the athlete cleared the bar on his from the side, from his or her side, with the takeoff leg tucked under the rest of the body. But this technique, according to the researcher, this technique does not given much changes in the bar clearance height from the Eastern cutoff and Western roll styles. Both the bar clearance height will be the same, but the difference is that this technique, Western roll techniques, does not need much flexibility, so it is easy for the athlete to adopt the Western roll style. We can see just in the picture the differences in the comparison of the bar clearance height. In both cases, the center of mass is same and bar clearance height is also same. Only difference is that in case of Western roll, the athlete does not need much flexibility. So, it is easy for the athlete to perform the Western roll technique. Now, the athletes or the trainers were in research for new techniques, and they adopted a new technique called straddle technique. The difference in straddle technique with the other technique is that in this, the bar clearance is athlete keeps his face down with the body stretched along the bar. This again lowers the some part of the body and increases the bar clearance. This allowed the pelvis to raise to a greater height in relation to the position of the center of mass, and therefore improved effectiveness of the bar. So, you can see in the picture again the comparison of Western roll and straddle style. When there is a big difference in the we can see the differences between the Western roll and straddle style. Straddle style improved the bar clearance again. And in 1930s, the athletes and coaches started using the straddle style. Now, again the athletes were on research, and athletes and trainers were on research to find out a better technique for the bar clearance. And in 1960s, they came out with a new technique called drive straddle. In drive straddle means, in this technique, it's almost like a straddle technique, but in this technique, the athlete kept his body oblique to the bar. So, this allowed the athlete to drop the head and upper trunk below the level of the bar at the peak of the jump. So again, it raised the rest of the body, especially the hip region. Therefore, the athletes cleared the bar better. Now we can see in the picture the differences in the bar clearance, effectiveness in the bar clearance between straddle and dive straddle. We can see some minute differences, that is the dive straddle gives a better bar clearance. Still, the center of mass is the same. So the people after 1960s, the people started using the athletes started using the dive straddle technique. Now by mid 60s, as a high jump person or a trainer understood what the technique has to be used. There should be a fast run up. The run up should be fast. The run up should be low, that is center of mass should be decreased, and there should be preparation. He should use his double arm action, and the center of gravity should be minimum, and it should a faster takeoff, a speedy takeoff, and the athlete started clearing the bar with dive straddle technique. It given a good height for clearance, a good bar clearance. Then after 1960s, an athlete called Fosbury came with a new technique, and he won the gold medal in an Olympics. And the technique he used is later known as Fosbury flop. That is, here he take off the foot farther from the bar, and a clearance position in which the athlete is arched backward over the bar. You can see in the picture the way the Fosbury flop is done. That is, athlete is arching his back and clear the bar. So this Fosbury flop got a better bar clearance had done by this method, Fosbury flop method. So we'll just compare the straddle method, which is used before the Fosbury method, and Fosbury flop method. In straddle method, the bar clearance is by the stomach. That is, fast bar clearance on the stomach. At the same time, Fosbury flop is bar clearance is on the back. Now in case of straddle technique, we discussed they are using in most of the jumping techniques, they are using a strong double arm action and a straight lead leg action. So a strong double arm action is for the jumping. But in the Fosbury flop, the arm action is weak and a bent lead leg is used. So in the case of straddle, a straight lead leg, and in case of Fosbury flop, a bent lead leg and a weaker arm action, and the person does the bar clearance by his back. Now there is some difference in the run up also once we compare the straddle technique, which is an older technique, and the newest technique, the Fosbury flop technique. In the straddle technique, the run up is very fast. The run up is fast, but in Fosbury flop, the run up is even more faster, but whatever the things, it should be in a controlled speed. Now we will compare the bar clearance by using that animated picture, progression of the bar clearance of effectiveness between dive straddle and Fosbury flop. Actually, Fosbury flop started the technique used after 1967, and you can see the center of mass is same, but the bar clearance has improved. In that picture, you can clearly see that dive straddle Fosbury flop is a better technique than dive straddle in improving the bar clearance. Now we'll go through the different techniques. Like long jump, it's also having a run-up technique, a take-off technique, bar clearance technique, and landing technique. So like the first one is the run-up technique, like long jump, high jump is also having the run-up technique, and the purpose of this run-up technique is like long jump, it brings the athlete into an optimum position for takeoff, moving at a velocity consistent with the athlete's strength and skills. That is, there should be again an optimum speed, there should be an optimum length, there will be an optimum length, but the speed should be a controllable speed, and again there will be some preparations of the takeoff, so again the speed decreases just in the penultimate and last stride of the run-up. So the first phase is the run-up phase, and the aim of the run-up to position the body in such a way that for the takeoff, the run-up stage position the body. So it depends upon it brings the athlete to an optimum position for takeoff, moving at a velocity consistent with the athlete's strength and skill. Now the length depends upon, there is an optimum length for each individual, and the length depends upon how much ability he can utilize the speed generated by run-up, and it depends upon, the length depends upon and the leg length, the muscles, and the ability to coordinate the movement during the takeoff. Now again, like long jump, here there are some changes in the last stages. That is, there will be some preparation for takeoff. So during the last few strides, athlete position the body in preparation to take off. Here, the trunk is brought from a position in which inclined forward. That is, in the run-up stage, the person will be inclined forward, but in this case, in the last stage of run-up or the preparation of the takeoff, the athlete inclined backward through a forceful forward movement of the hip. His hip moves forward forcefully. It allows the athlete to incline backward, and this is the one preparation for the takeoff. Once the athlete incline backward, athlete's center of gravity will get a more time and more distance to travel, so that he will get a more time for the preparation of the takeoff. So once the athlete is inclined backward, athlete's center of gravity has a greater horizontal and vertical distance to travel from an instant of touchdown to the instant of takeoff. This will give the athlete more time to coordinate the takeoff movement and take same time and approach the takeoff at a higher speed. Now, athletes' next changes is inclination of backward is the first changes, and the second one is the center of gravity gradually lowers. The athletes lowers his center of gravity by doing his flexion of the knee and hip, and amount of center of gravity lowers depends upon the height of the jump he has to do. Now, once the athlete, the purpose of the lowering of the center of gravity to start to do a fast extension, and once he do the fast extension, by that speed, the horizontal speed become the converted into a vertical speed. So next stage is the takeoff. Takeoff begins with grounding the heel of the jumping foot at the end of the last stride of the runner. At this point, the athlete's body is, we already discussed, athlete's body is inclined backward. The foot of the leading leg is close to the ground and well behind the body, and both arms are behind the body, or one forward or one backward. So it may be either both arms may be behind the body, and one may be forward or one may be backward. And once the sole of the jumping foot has been grounded, the knee of the jumping leg flexed to decrease the effect of impact and put the leg into an optimum position for forceful extension. So by flexing the knee, the person prepare the takeoff and for a forceful extension. So by that forceful extension, the horizontal velocity will be converted into the vertical velocity, and the athletes can jump and takeoff starts. then just after takeoff, the flight starts and the bar clearance will be there. We already discussed the different techniques used for the bar clearance, and we already discussed which is the best technique and what are the methods, which are the different techniques, and how the person clear the bar and how much difference is there in each technique. Now the last stage of the high jump is the landing stage. Landing stage, according to the technique used in the landing may vary. So in the in the case of scissor technique, the foot of the leading leg lands. But in the case of eastern cutoff, the foot of the jumping leg lands. But in case of western roll, foot and hand and foot of the jumping leg lands, and in case of Fosbury flop, the athlete's back jumps. So now we discussed the different techniques used in the different techniques and different methods of the high jump. So in this session, we already discussed about the different jumping motion. The long jump, we already discussed about the long jump, the different techniques used by the long jumpers. Then we discussed about the high jump, the different techniques of bar clearance and how the clearance is done and what are the difference in the bar clearance by using different techniques.